Do you realize that it's unnecessary for you to not have pleasure at any moment? You could be a person that has pleasure 100% of the day. Here's how. Number 1, focus on your pleasure. The world is full of pleasure. We're bombarded with pleasure all the time. The trick is to notice it. So earlier today, I was walking out of my house and I see that my neighbor has, he's throwing out stuff in front of his house. And in the garbage that he was throwing out, I see there's this old-fashioned phone, very, very old phone. And I took another look. It was interesting. It's pleasurable to see this old-fashioned, huge, chunky phone. Just pleasurable. Or another story, a different neighbor behind me they had an old shed and they decided to fix the roof of their shed. It took a bunch of hours and they put new tar on the roof. And every time I would look at it, there was something enjoyable about it. It just was so nice to see a new roof, new tar. Or another story. There's these kids in my neighborhood. They're very short kids. It's a family, like the mother's short, probably the father's also short. It's like 3-4 kids. A bunch of mornings, I would see them running to the bus. They were like, the mother was pushing the stroller and 2 or 3 kids were holding on and they were running so fast. It was like, I don't know if I could run that fast. And it was just so, I don't know, my heart would go out. My heart would like beat faster for them. Make the bus. It's like these short little kids just running so fast. I don't know even how they're able to run so fast. So it's so cute. Another story. Recently, I was walking down the street and I see this little kid holding the hand of his father, who was like 6 years old. But in the other hand, he's holding this twig. He's holding it, very important to hold this twig. And I don't know why he wants the twig. That twig was very important, but it was just so cute. This 6-year-old really wants this twig. So focus on these pleasures. It's all over the place. Just notice the simple things that are so enjoyable to notice. Number 2, find the pleasure. At every given moment, check in with yourself and see, am I having pleasure right now? If you are having pleasure, focus on the pleasure. Take it in, enjoy it, feel it, really experience the pleasure. The more you take it in, the more enjoyable it will be. Now, if you're not having pleasure, then ask yourself, why am I continuing to do this if I'm not having pleasure? Well, maybe the answer will be because I'm obligated to do it. I need to do it. And this is one of my obligations. I don't enjoy it, but I need to do it. So focus on that. That's your key to pleasure. Is it enjoyable to do your obligations? Of course it's enjoyable. You're doing your obligations. You're being a good person. You're doing the right thing. Enjoy doing the right thing. It's enjoyable. And if it's hard to do, the harder it is, that's even more enjoyable. Everyone knows the harder something is, the more pleasure you'll get from it. It's more fulfilling. And then if it's something that is not enjoyable and there's no reason that you're doing it, then stop doing it. It's simple as that. Stop doing it. You're watching something you're not enjoying, you're watching some movie, just stop. You're not enjoying it? Stop. So this also goes with jobs. Some people think that the job that you have that's your job. You don't have to like it. You just have to do it and make money. That's not true. You can like your job. If you don't like your job, get a new job. Figure out what you really like to do and do it. There's no reason to stay in a job you hate. Okay, number 3. Tell yourself the pleasurable thing. There's all kinds of ways to look at most situations. And how you feel really depends on what you tell yourself. So you want to tell yourself the pleasurable thing. Tell yourself something that will make you enjoy it. Okay, I want to tell you a story. Many years ago, I was somewhere and there was 2 girls who every day or many days would be around me, and they would sit there talking about everyone else and dissecting people. And the people they were dissecting were people I knew. And it really bothered me. It really bothered me. So I would try to say something like, please don't talk about it, or stuff like that. And one of the girls that I told this to was really upset at me when I said it. She's like, be like that. You know, like she was really upset. And the other girl wanted to hear what I had to say. It wasn't that she was just taking the criticism, accepting it begrudgingly. She really wanted to know. She would turn to me and be like, oh, like, why do you think it's wrong? What part, like, oh, and then she would tell the other girl, you see, you hear what she said? Yeah, she said, she makes a lot of sense. And there was just something about it. And now you can't stop from loving such a person. You can't help it. Somebody who wants to grow like that, somebody who just, you tell them how to change, they don't take offense, they just take pleasure from it. Obviously, now what's the difference between the 2 girls? One girl, well, it's not something so negative about her because it's human nature to have a hard time with criticism. But it hurt her. She took it like it's negative about me. And the other girl was just so overflowing with growth. So she enjoyed growth so much that she just wanted to hear. So find the pleasurable way of interpreting things. If somebody gives you criticism, find a way to enjoy it. Realize you're growing from it. You could grow. This girl, all she wanted to do, she's just like so in love with growing that she was so happy with my criticism. A similar thing, I had a principal who acted similarly. You know how teenagers could be. So there was teenagers that were speaking, I would say, pretty disrespectful to her. And I would think like she would reprimand them, she would be like strict with them, or, you know, instead she was listening to them talk, and I could tell she was like enjoying them. She was loving them. She was finding them cute. And that principal, everyone loved her. Everyone loved her. You can't not love such a person. The same principal happens to be, I noticed about her that every time she would laugh, and I told myself, like, she laughs like a child. There's something about her that it's just so enjoyable. Like, there's something about her, she's just very pure. She's very pure. Her laughter was so pure. I think that she just sees like the pureness of everything. She's just happy and simple and just sees the beauty in the world and in people. So that's why everyone loves her. So tell yourself the pleasurable thing. You know, growing is pleasurable. Enjoy it. Enjoy the goodness in other people. See the good in them. It's pleasurable. And just another point about growing. It really bothers me. I hear sometimes that people say somebody's going through a hard time. They say the way they come for them is, this is how you grow. If you won't have hardships, you won't grow. This is a misconception. You don't need hardships to grow. Sometimes hardships can help a person. They push them in the right direction to grow. But you could be a person that grows without hardships. You don't need hardships to grow. You could grow through pleasure. You could grow because you want to grow. If you look at a baby, they grow. They're not forced to grow. You don't smack them and say grow and that's how they grow. They want to grow naturally. They just grow. They start crawling. You don't teach them to crawl. They learn to crawl because they want to. Naturally, in ourselves, we want to grow. We want to become better people. Sometimes we get a push by having something bad. When something bad happens to us, it pushes us to grow more. But you don't need to be stuck between a rock and a hard place to grow. And if you grow without the hardship, chances are you'll have less hardship in your life because hardship is meant for you to grow. So if you're growing already, you're not going to need the hardship to grow. So that it just bothers me when people say that the only way to grow is through hardship. It's really wrong. And if you have that perspective, it will hurt because what will happen is you'll grow, you'll be attracted to hardships and you'll be attracted to bad things because you'll feel like that's going to help you grow. And that's not necessary. You could grow through pleasure. Okay, number 4. Realize that emotions are pleasurable. You know, we know that emotions are pleasurable, like happiness, joy, love, excitement, all these positive emotions we know are pleasurable. So when you're experiencing them, take a moment and really live it. Really let it sink in, really experience it. And then also the negative emotions. Don't stop yourself from feeling. Feel, be fully alive. If it means anger or hate, okay, you gotta let it go through you, right? You don't wanna always be in a state of anger and hate, but don't stop it from going through you. Experience it. Tell yourself it's fine. Okay, so you have negative emotions. You're getting nervous from something. You have negative emotions. It's okay. And then it'll go through you quickly. At least quicker than if you would hold back, you would shield yourself from the emotion. And then there's another thing about negative emotions. If you really experience them, if you just feel yourself in it and let yourself be enveloped in an emotion, if you're having it, you don't need to run after negative emotions. But if you're already experiencing it, let yourself be enveloped in it. And it's a cathartic experience. You'll see. I can't explain it. You have to experience it. But just next time you have very bad emotions, just let yourself feel it. Just stop and breathe into it and experience it. And you'll see. It'll be a good experience. Find the pleasure in everything. Notice the pleasure in the good and notice the pleasure in the seemingly bad. Increase your daily dosage of pleasure. And please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and bell if you haven't already. And remember, let's set out to do great things. You know you can.